What an honor it is to welcome Israel's inspiring President Reuven Rivlin to New York. To be very honest, a couple of years ago, when member of Knesset Rivlin was being considered to become Israel's next president, I had serious concerns because as a member of the Knesset, he had said some harsh things about the reform movement. Fast forward on a scorching hot day in July of 2014, before traveling to Modin to join tens of thousands of brothers and sisters gathered together in grief to lay to rest and mourn our three Israeli teens, Eyal, Gilad, and Naftali, I finally had the privilege to meet with Reuven Rivlin in Natan Sharansky's office at the Jewish Agency. It was just days before he would become Israel's 10th president. Natan brought us together to see if we could find some common ground so that the 1.5 million Jews of the Reform movement in North America could become part of his circle of responsibility and relationship. In memory of Eyal, Gilad, and Naftali, I pleaded with our president-elect, we must find a way to feel more connected and responsible for one another, no matter what our beliefs or practices. Following that meeting on that day, President Rivlin has powerfully and regularly expressed his readiness to partner and to really live the commitment to Jewish unity to include us and so many others. Since taking office, he has become the champion of unity among the Jewish people and the staunch defender of the rights of all citizens, especially the Arab citizens of Israel. Who can fail to be inspired when at Kfar Qasim, the site of a massacre in 1956, President Rivlin was the first Israeli president to attend the annual memorial ceremony. He expressed, as he always does, from his heart, the profound values of Judaism and the Jewish state, offering words of condolence and apology. And most recently, 2 days ago, President Rivlin helped restore and honor the deep relationship between the State of Israel and the United States of America. All the world could see how comfortable President Rivlin was sitting discussing important issues of mutual concern with President Barack Obama. And then later that day, with Jewish leaders from across the spectrum, President Rivlin brought enormous joy back to the White House. We pray that the glow and warmth of the Hanukkah lights will continue in the White House long after these 8 days of celebration are concluded. In this week's Parashah Miketz, we learn a lot about what siblings should not do, but in the story of Hanukkah, we learn a lot about what siblings should do. At the heart of the historical narrative of Hanukkah is a group of brothers. They not only get along well, they band together to fight for our people. That same spirit lives today among our people, due largely to the courageous leadership and extraordinary humanity of our President Rivlin. During these days, Israel faces many challenges. We all know it, and we feel that deep sense of connection. The Jewish state needs all of us to be staunch defenders of Israel, and we will never stop defending her right to exist, no matter the hostile arena, from the college campus to the Presbyterian General Assembly to the UN and beyond. Hanukkah reminds us that we have to fight for religious liberty. It is not granted to us. The time is long overdue for equality to reign throughout the state of Israel. And because of our deep love for and commitment to the ideals of the state of Israel, we insist on equality, not just at the Kotel, at the Western Wall, but also in rabbinical courts, under the bridal canopy, at funerals and conversions, and in the founding and funding of our congregations. It cannot be that the great ingathering of the exiles will result in the only democratic state in the world that formally does not grant equal rights to the majority of the Jewish people. As the scourge of intolerance threatens to engulf so much of our world, we desperately need leaders of conscience and conviction. We are so blessed to have such a leader in President Rivlin. So as we read in this Shabbat's Haftarah from Zechariah, Lo v'chayil, v'lo v'koach, Ki im beruchi amar Adonai tzvaot, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, said the Eternal of Hosts. May God's Spirit continue to bless President Rivlin as he leads our people and our Jewish state from the darkness of fear to the light of hope. Chag Sameach, Baruch haba.
Good afternoon, Kvod Nasi, honored guests, friends. It's really a privilege to be able to be here, to be with you, President Rivlin, and have an opportunity to share a couple thoughts about Hanukkah. And beyond Hanukkah, some of the symbolisms that we derive from this holiday for the challenges that we face. I want to echo my colleague and friends, Rabbi Jacob's remarks about the accomplishments that President Rivlin has achieved in office, accomplishments in advocating for issues of social equality and justice for all of Israel's citizens, his openness to meet and to work with us and to continue to discuss the challenges that we believe are important both for our brethren, our Jewish brethren in Israel, as well as for us in the diaspora. And that is having the sense when we come to Israel, when we talk about Israel, when we advocate and support Israel, that Israel is indeed the homeland for all the Jewish people. That all of us, no matter which methodology, which approach we take to lighting the menorah of Torah, it is one that is acknowledged, accepted, and supported with full equality and in equal pluralism for all Jews around the world. When Hanukkah comes, I can't help but recall a wonderful teaching from the Gemara, from the Talmud and Masechet Shabbat. It's a section that many of us are familiar with. It's the machloket, the discussion over how the Hanukkah is lit. Is the Hanukkah lit from right to left, or is it lit from left to right? The conversation is calling out that Shammai believes that the Chanukiah is lit, you put all 8 candles in, and you light 8, then 7, and so forth. And Hillel says it should be the other way, Ma'alin b'kodesh. And what the machloket is about is not which way of lighting the Chanukiah is correct. What the rabbis are interested in is simply understanding what is the motivation, what is the reason by which Shammai does it one way and Hillel does it the other way. And if we think about the way in which we light the Chanukiah today, what we find is it's a convergence of the two lightings, without explanation, so to speak. We put the candles in the Chanukiah according to Hillel, and we light them according to Shammai. I think that says something really important about authentic Judaism. Authentic Judaism, through the symbolism of the Chanukiah and the way in which we light it, is one base, one Torah, with many branches and approaches to finding the light of God in our lives. That's what we need. I couldn't be struck by how wonderful your presentation was, Mr. President, at the White House, how exciting it was to hear your message of justice. And as a conservative Jew, I had a tinge of pride that you quoted Rabbi Dr. Abraham Joshua Heschel. Heschel was one of my father's teachers. And Heschel, of course, is the paradigmatic example of the application of Jewish values in the world, that our values need to be acted upon. His famous saying when asked why he went to march with Martin Luther King Jr., because he was praying with his feet, not in the synagogue. And what struck me about that is you used Heschel as an example of the best of the Jewish world. Yet Rabbi Heschel, who was brought to this country, saved from the Nazis, from the Reform movement, and found his spiritual home within the conservative movement in Israel, would not be afforded the same rights as our Orthodox brethren in the state of Israel. Can't do marriages, can't do divorces, can't do conversions, and other things. What I look forward to in the future, and what we look to you and your moral voice as a leader of the state of Israel and the people of Israel, is a moment in which we can come together on Hanukkah and we can light the candle. And we can do it even from different directions, but yet we can be together to recite the brachot and to bathe in the light of Torah for all of us in our own particular ways. Thank you. Chag Chanukah Sameach.
Very good. Thank you.
President Rivlin, honored dignitaries, distinguished colleagues, and dear friends. We meet in the midst of the joyous holiday of Hanukkah. Mr. President, I don't know if you recall, but you and I last met in the midst of another joyous holiday of Simchat Torah. It was in the synagogue known as Chovevei, because it's situated on Chovevei Tzion Street, not far from your residence and my residence in Jerusalem. You were called up to be Chatan Torah. At the conclusion of your Aliyah, several of us joined you on the bima, dancing. And I was among them, dancing with you. The sight of your hands, Mr. President, clapping enthusiastically, caught my attention at that inspirational moment. Hands of the Nasi Yisrael clapping in joy on Simchat Torah. But immediately, another image of your hands came to mind. For just the previous day, on Hoshana Rabbah, I saw your hands raised high as you spoke at the graveside of two young men, both victims of murderous terror, cut down in the prime of their lives on the streets of the old city of Jerusalem, Bein HaChomot. One day, you used your hands to express grief and sorrow and to convey comfort and consolation to bereaved widows and young children. The very next day, on Simchas Torah, you were able to use those very same hands to accompany songs of joy and celebration and to inspire courage and hope. How symbolic are your hands of the challenges that we, the Jewish people, seem destined to confront even at this point in our history. Grief and mourning at one moment, celebration and triumph the next moment. There's a phrase in Tehillim, V'gilu bira'ada, rejoice in trembling. This is the essence of our people. When we speak of kulanu ke'echad, what we all have to do and have learned to do is to have gila and ra'ada in the same moment. And your hands express the capacity to do that. On Hoshana Rabbah, ra'ada, fear, trembling, disappointment, pain, grief, sorrow. And on Simchas Torah, gila, rina, ditza, v'chedva. That's what those hands symbolize to me. I'm reminded of another pair of hands, Mr. President, and all who are gathered here today. And those are the hands of Moshe Rabbeinu, of our teacher Moses. The Pasuk reads toward the end of Parshat B'Shalach, as the Jewish people confront our arch enemy, Amalek. The Jews are on the battlefield, led by General Chief of Staff Yehoshua. But the president, Moshe Rabbeinu, is standing on a high place with his hands raised high. V'haya ka'asher yarim Moshe yado v'gavar Yisrael. As long as Moshe kept his hands held high, v'gavar Yisrael, Israel prevailed. But sometimes, and as it happened then, Videi Moshe kevedim. Moshe's hands become heavy. They grow heavy. It's hard to keep your hands up in the air, inspiring your people constantly. You need help. And Moshe needed help. V'Aharon v'Chur tamchu v'yadav. So two people stepped forward, Aharon and Chur, and they helped hold his hands up. They helped support his hands. Mizeh echad u'mizeh echad. They were from two different camps. Some from the left, some from the right. In this case, literally, but for our purposes, figuratively. Both Aaron and Hur, representing different perspectives, both helped support the hands of Moshe. And then, with that support, Vayehi Yadav Emunah Ad Bo Hashemesh, Moshe's hands were able to remain be'emunah, steadfast, firm, faithful, resolute. As long as Jewish leaders like yourself, Mr. President, hold your hands high, as Moshe did, under any and all circumstances, then we are assured of ultimate triumph. We, speaking for the Jews of the diaspora, Mizeh Echad u'Mizeh Echad, join Aharon v'Hur. We support your hands and encourage you to continue to hold them high so that we will, b'mheira v'yameinu, speedily in our time, prevail. Ka'asher yarim yado v'gavar Yisrael. Happy Hanukkah to all. Thank you.
The Hanukkah lighting ceremony at the White House was referenced recently. I see Rabbi Angela Bukdal here from Central Synagogue. Many of us will not forget the dramatic moment in which you lit the Chanukia at the White House, and you said the following, as I recall: I don't think the founding fathers would have envisioned a day when a female Asian rabbi would be lighting the Hanukkah candles in front of an African-American president. So thank you for being with us today, and thank you for that great statement. The New York Board of Rabbis is the largest rabbinic interdenominational body of its kind in the world. We have over 700 rabbis. We're very privileged to have an exceptional president in Rabbi David Seth Kirshner. You know, some people in this world are good at burning bridges. There are others who excel in building bridges. Rabbi Kirshner is a bridge builder. He's also the rabbi of Temple Emmanuel, close to New Jersey. And I can tell you, under his initiative, when he travels on the George Washington Bridge, all the lanes remain open. I give you Rabbi David Seth Kirshner.
Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon, everyone. Kvod Anasi. To all of you and to President Rivlin, 5 rabbis, I'm very, very sorry. I will try and be brief. We are told that the nace, the miracle of Hanukkah, is that the oil lasted for 8 nights. But I think that's a secondary miracle. I think the primary miracle was that after the destruction was found, that the Maccabim, those people who came into the temple, had the thought, the desire, the fortitude to look for the oil in the first place, and then to light a match and to see if it would glow. That was the real miracle, that they didn't lose a sense of hope, of optimism, of opportunity. And to me, that is the essence of our peoplehood, that is the essence of our homeland, and that is the essence of our future. It is that same notion of hope, of hatikvah, that inspires all of us. When pioneers grow tomatoes in the sand, when engineers and developers and scientists create a new antidote to whatever illness is existing in the world to make it a better place, letaken olam b'malchut Shaddai, to create a cure to cancer or to ALS, and to create defense systems that keep soldiers around the world in democratic places safe and protected. That is our tikvah, our hope. And that same hope is felt when we stand and tear kriya around the graves of young and innocent people, and we remind ourselves that the hope and the light is much brighter than that darkness. And to me, that same miracle happens every day in Israel. And your presence here, Kavod Anasi, your presence here reiterates that sense of hope, that sense of optimism, that sense of miracle. And I pray that God continue to look after you, the role in which you see as our president of our homeland, and all of the inhabitants of the land of Israel, so that we will never, ever lose that sense of hope, and it will always fortify us in the future. it is my great honor to introduce the President of the State of Israel, Reuven Rivlin.
Thank you. God bless. God bless. Dear friends, I came to you not only as the President of Israel, but also as a Jerusalemite, son of Jerusalemite, son of the son of Jerusalemite, and descendant of 7 generations in Jerusalem. We came to Jerusalem 100 years before Zionism as a political movement, and I'm so happy to bring you the blessing of Jerusalem to all of you, because we are all one family. Dear friend, this has been an unusual Hanukkah, which I spent visiting congressmen and congresswomen, ambassadors, and of course, was honored to be hosted by President Obama and First Lady Michelle. As much as I'm happy to be here, it is also with heavy heart, as you have said before. There are difficult days. Our thoughts are with the injured and the families who lost loved ones in the wave of terror that all of us has struck in Israel and around the world. I pray from the bottom of my heart that we will soon know better days. Dear friends, on Hanukkah, we light candles every day, adding another one. Each has different flame, a different character. On the last night, all 8 candles are being lit together, yet each has its own light. The Jewish communities of the United States also have their own special flame and their own special character. I believe it is very important for the State of Israel to show full respect and sensitivity to all American Jews. It is important that we remember, not only on Hanukkah, that we are all one family. All feeling Ahavat Israel, the love of Israel. That simple love for all the Jewish people of all groups and all streams. I know that all communities represented here today share Ahavat Israel and a deep commitment to the future of the Jewish people and to the positive image of the State of Israel. We must never forget that even the major differences between us are an honest expression of concern shared by all of us, whether Orthodox, Reform, or Conservative. And recently in Israel I've learned another concept, a secular Orthodox. Jews of the United States and Jews of Israel, left and right, right and left, conservative and liberal, we all share concern for the Jewish people all around the world. We can and we should argue aggressively, but from the position of respect, of fairness, without denying anyone's Jewishness, without denying the place of one approach or another within Jewish dialogue today. Rabbinical Judaism, born in Yavne after the destruction of our temple, witnessed the terrible danger of inner division tearing the people apart. Our sagas understood that religious and social conflicts, however important they may be, cannot and should not be decided by denying the opinion of others. The greatness of the Torah, learned in Yavne, was the ability to turn dispute into the foundation of Jewish culture. The Talmud asks why the halacha was determined according to Beit Hillel. Should we light the 8th candle before or the first candle before and go down, progressive, regressive, and was determined according to Beit Hillel. And why so? It tells us that this was not because Beit Hillel was more correct, but because they put the words of Beit Shammai before their own. Beit Hillel was not more correct, it was more considerate. And so the halacha was determined according to their opinions. Jewish culture is a culture of dispute through listening. And that is the most important thing, to listen one to another. Even though sometimes we cannot agree or we are not ready to agree, we have to listen one to the other, all together. I would like to end with a prayer of Rabbi Elimelech Milezhnesk. Adraba, תן בליבנו שנדע להכיר במעלת חברינו, ושנדבר כל אחד את חברו בדרך הרשאי והרצוי לפניך. I would like to thank Rabbi Postnik, the one who have led us all as if he was the shamash of the Chanukia. Thank you so very much for leading me, at least. Chanukah Sameach. Happy Chanukah. Shabbat Shalom. Chodesh Tov. God bless all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
We would be pleased to send a complimentary DVD of this program to anyone who wishes to support JBS, the Jewish Broadcasting Service, with a tax-deductible gift of $36, double chai or more, to the nonprofit organization Jewish Education in Media. Simply visit the JBS homepage and click on the Donate button to make a donation by PayPal or your credit card. And please indicate the program for which you would like a DVD. Or you can send your tax-deductible check made out to Jem, Post Office Box 180, Riverdale Station, Bronx, New York 10471. And again, please remember to indicate which program you would like to receive with our compliments. And we thank you for your kind support.